And it says it in that verse. If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. If any want to become my followers. That's the first thing. Anyone is invited to follow Jesus. And this is a reminder for all of us, and I think it's critically important for us to remember, that it is an invitation for every single one of us. But at the same time, it is an invitation for anyone. You see, it's targeted to us as individuals, but it is also for the people around us and even the people we don't know that are far from us. Anyone is invited to Jesus. And we know that by the life of Jesus. If you look through the gospel stories, Jesus constantly invites the people that are outside of society to come and follow him. The adulterers, the tax collectors, the fishermen, even the rich and the poor, the beggars, the blind, the lame. All are invited to follow Jesus. Without any distinction, everyone is invited to follow Jesus. But the thing of it is that a lot of us, the way we do church, do faith, do Christian living, is as if the invitation is for ours alone. Why? We come to church, we sit, we listen to the sermon. Pastor Fred's are good, mine are okay. You know, and we're satisfied. We've done church. Being satisfied that Jesus has invited us to follow him. But sometimes we forget that Jesus invites us and the people around us to follow. Who are the people in your life that need that invitation? Maybe you yourself. Maybe you don't feel like that you can follow Jesus because of either your situation, because of your past, because of your present, because of a relationship, because of something else. Maybe you don't feel like you can follow Jesus. But Jesus invites people to follow him at any point in their lives. Jesus invites them to follow him. It is open. And this is good news. Why? Because every day, no matter how we're feeling or what situation we are in, we are invited to follow Jesus. But this is not without expectation, which is the second part of that famous passage. It says, let them deny themselves and take up their cross. The second thing we need to remember is that we need to deny ourselves and take up our crosses. But what does that mean? What does it mean to deny ourselves and take up our cross? Well, you know, a lot of us think that to deny ourselves and to take up our cross, well, that part about denial, we think that it's sort of this kind of self-denial and the kind of self-denial where we don't acknowledge our desires, that we should be crushed below. Self-denial does not mean seeking or embracing abuse for its own sake. As if suffering has its own redemptive value. You know, it's, what I mean by that is that a lot of us think that martyrdom, you know, there was a period in Christian history where martyrdom was so uplifted. I mean, people wanted to be a martyr for the sake of being a martyr, thinking that that was something better than living. You know, and we believe that we should go seek suffering in our lives. But we know that suffering will come to us whether we seek it or not. And Jesus, if you look through the Gospel of Mark and any of the other Gospels, Jesus spent a lot of time healing people from their suffering. So what does it mean to be in deny ourselves? It means a complete redefinition of ourselves. It means that we are called to separate ourselves from that which defines us, and often what defines us is our jobs, our wealth, our positions, our power. Self-denial is not self-annihilation, but self-denial is about a complete redefinition of who we are. To take up the cross is not just about, bearing the load, so to speak. Cross-bearing means a lot more than just bearing the load. It means resignation, as one person puts it, of one's reputation in life. And what that means is that there was an understanding in that culture where when someone bore the cross, as they were carrying it through the city. Much like the Passion narrative where Jesus took the cross and carried it to Golgotha. There was this notion that when you carry the cross, what you're doing and what you're signifying is that the society and their leaders have denied that person. And so when Jesus crossed, to take up our cross, what he is doing is saying, know that you are denying society and all of its idolatries and all of its ideologies, that you are redefining yourself and associating yourself with me. What distinguishes a life of self-denial and taking up the cross is at the heart of it, what it is trusting in God. It's the rejection of idolatry. It's the rejection of the normal way of operating in the world. And taking yourself to follow Jesus, to take his way into your life. The third thing we need to know about following Jesus is this. We have to remember that we have to know our place with Jesus. And that is, you are a follower. And it says it twice, right? Become my followers and follow me. The instructions are clear. We must never forget that we are followers, not the ones leading the show. Like I said before, a lot of us have expectations of who Jesus is in our lives. And that is leading the way, not following Jesus. When we have an expectation of Jesus that is incongruent with what God understands, what God desires, that means we are leading the way, and that means we're not following. But Jesus' invitation is to follow, and we have to remember that. We are followers of Jesus. And following Jesus allows us to pursue an extraordinary life with Jesus. I want to talk a little bit about this idea of an extraordinary life. A lot of us think that, the way we live life is that we want to pursue an extraordinary life. But an extraordinary life of our own making. But the thing about pursuing an extraordinary life of our own making is that it never ends. Why? It's not because that there aren't extraordinary things in life to experience. There's a lot of extraordinary things in life to experience. But when we pursue this sort of